Is this the classic JR misdirection
What are we
intro?
at, 320? Am I 320?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 320 of Opinions May Vary. I'm your host, JR. I'm my co-host with me, Alex.
Hello.
I'm keeping you on your toes, man.
Thanks.
You know, that's just how I be. So it's we're doing it justice because we have a lot to talk about, and our episodes have been running very long lately. And it was also one of the happiest days of the year, mixed with a little bit of sadness. But because of that sadness, we got to experience a lot of happiness in a different. Because last year we didn't really get to experience Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
We tried to get other people to experience it, but no one was around. But it was also subsequently our most liked post on Instagram that year.
Yeah, oddly. I don't know how I did that.
It's the weirdest thing, man. Last year,
Hopefully I'll have people approaching me at just randomly, hey man, how about
yeah.
this free
Give me them comics. It was on Instagram. We are opinions may vary on Instagram, all one word?
Yes.
Or is it other? There are no
Nope.
underscores. It's all one word.
Yep.
Opinions may vary.
Yep.
On Instagram, go follow us. We're pretty popular there. Last year, we missed out on Free Comic Book Day because we were partaking in the Steampunk World's Fair. The Steampunk World's Fair this year is non-existent. So this year, it actually would have coincided on the same weekend.
Yep.
Had the event not been shut down, or not, I don't know the proper word for it. But because of that, while we're not at Steampunk World's Fair or any fair like it, we did get to go to Free Comic Book Day this year.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't miss out on any festivities, and many good things ensued, including spending money and also getting things for free.
Mm-hmm. And getting to meet some people.
We did get to meet some people, which is like one of those byproducts that I always forget about at Free Comic Day, because everyone's like, it's just free comics. And then it's a little bit more. And like my Free Comic Book Day started out with me kind of shaming myself, and my wife putting me in my place, because my wife had to get work done on her car, which also happened to be near one of the bigger malls in the area that actually still has stores in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And we went into the mall because you know the typical like, well, let's kill some time.
Time to go wander.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we went into the mall, went into my former place of business, Barnes & Noble, where I first started my career there. Saw some people I would rather avoid and promptly left. And when we were wandering around, we got to one end of the mall because everything was still closed pretty much except Barnes & Noble.
Oh, that early in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 9:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we passed by Newbury Comics, which is at like the end of the mall near the escalators, because we were going up. Newbury Comics was there, and they weren't open yet, but there were people inside setting up and stuff, and I didn't even think of it. And there was a line of probably 25, 30 people outside. And I'm like, does this happen every morning for them?
Is there a new CD release or something?
Yeah, literally, I was like, maybe there's a new record or something. People get excited about it, and they can just download it. Who cares? And I could not figure out why these people were lined up.
Right.
For like, we were going up the escalator, and I'm sitting there like making scrunchy face, like, why are they there? What am I missing out on? There's no new video. It's a Saturday. Video games come out on like Tuesdays typically. Yeah. What's happening?
So for people who aren't local to our area, but basically New England,
right?
If you get up north from us, you have Bull Moose Music. What was it? There was a store that closed down like
Strawberries.
The South area. Like down around Texas and some of those states.
I don't know.
There was like some kind of entertainment store because like all their comics were getting liquidated.
Right.
And they were basically like a Newbury Comics or Bull
I feel
Moose.
like we talked about this on the show.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. I can't remember the name now.
Yep.
Now like they're still open. But like when we mention Newbury Comics, we don't think of a comic store.
Yeah.
We think of a pop culture store.
I think of Hot Topic, but with less T-shirts.
Yeah.
Some T-shirts, but less.
They'll have they have movies, CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays,
knickknacks,
knick-knack-
tchotchkes.
Yeah, like some like posters, like one shelf, like what I have in my room right behind you, with my rack of comics. That's what they have about one rack.
They do have like you can like set up a pull list there, and this is like the small because there's a Newbury Comics in the mall where we were in Manchester. There's a Newbury Comics in Northampton, which has a pretty decent record selection. I've actually bought a bunch of records there. And then there's like the main one is that the flagship store in Boston?
Oh, well, when you were posting about this, Will had said like the Boston one,
Right.
or one of the ones in Boston was originally like a legit comic shop and then got converted to Newbury Comics. So it
Right.
got bought out and kind of reset. And so a lot of customers that were loyal to the first one would just stay there. But like, yeah, like you said, tchotchkes, like if you wanted to buy the Sight and Happiness book,
Yeah.
like they're there.
You can also get it at Barnes and Noble. I got my sister's Christmas present this year at Newbury Comics.
Yeah.
I got her a mug
Mhm.
that said how God, what did it say on it? Wasn't it like a mug of shut the fuck up or something like that? I can't, it was something obscene.
Yeah.
You know, it's where you can buy like a bottle opener that farts
Right. Of course.
because you need those. Stocking stuffers.
Yeah. Okay. So why were all these people at
Yes, there were a bunch of people lined up
this pop
outside.
culture store?
And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Why are there people lined up outside of Newbury Comics? What?
Oh, one time John saved me, by the way.
Oh.
Me and John were in that one in Manchester.
Yep.
And he goes, Alex, don't look down and don't look like up on the shelf to the side, because one of my greatest fears was in both those spots.
Oh,
Don't.
we'll chop that out.
No one needs to know. But like they sell those things too, and I had a real hard time checking out and not like
Yep.
making eye contact,
Making
with,
eye
with
contact.
those things.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry. Go
So there's a line of people. We're going up the escalator. I'm making stupid scrunchy face, trying to figure, and I'm saying like under my breath, like why are there so many people lined up? What's the big deal? And my wife goes, and like she wasn't trying to be condescending. The way she just goes, "It's free comic book day," and I was like, oh, it completely. I don't associate Newbury Comics with comics.
Right.
So
It's in the name, but if you've been in one of these places, it's just not.
I've actually like I bought an omnibus at Newbury Comics once. I got it for a hella deal. Was it the Spider-Man one? I think it was the Ultimate Spider-Man omnibus, Volume 1. I got for like $40, and that's where I got my sketch cover of Invincible that I had Ryan Otley do a sketch on later on. They just had it like on the rack, so I was like, yeah, I'll get this.
I know I've seen like last time I was there, they had like designer Star Wars T-shirts for $60
Of course, obviously.
because that's what I associate with that place, really.
Yep.
More than
I think you can set up like a pull list. They do sell comics.
yeah.
But it's just not something that I typically go like, oh yeah, I got to go get my comics at Newbury Comics.
And they'll have figures and some statues too.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's not where I think of like, oh, I wonder if this place has a statue. I want to go there and check it out.
Yeah, I'm not going to be diving at Newbury Comics for the latest. So yeah, it was a funny inadvertent shame, you know, like where my wife just kind of, she wasn't trying to put me in my place, but for someone who does not read, like she reads Saga. She used to read Walking Dead, but she hates Negan, and Negan ruined the book for her.
Surprisingly, an ex of mine, I showed her Saga, but she hates spiders.
Oh.
And I picked up the tray and accidentally flipped her right to the stock. And I thought she'd be done forever. She's like, no, I started reading Saga.
But the stock's great.
Yeah. And then you could get past her eventually.
Yeah. When you see like she's actually really cool and not just terrifying.
What's unfortunate, there's a pretty decent like brick and mortar mom and pop shop like within 5 miles of that mall.
Yep.
Heroes Legacy. I'm a fan of it.
Been there a couple times.
I don't go into it regularly just because it's out of town.
Yeah, Manchester's a hike
Yeah.
for us. I know that because I had to drive there twice today, to and from. That's why we're recording on a nice Saturday night.
But Heroes Legacy had some deals. They also do like weekend deals anyway, which are always usually pretty good. So I hope they had a good free comic day.
Yeah, I hope it was great. I didn't see any pictures, but also Facebook with algorithms.
Yeah.
With the whole, you know, oh, you liked this one person's thing? Here, we're going to show you everything they've ever posted and show you nothing else.
Sometimes, like, some stores have time to post their own promotions and be like, here's our crowd today. Here's what we have today. But, like, right now, they're probably busy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how my free comic day started. And then after, we finally got to take advantage of it later on. When I finally got home, we hit up our LCS, local comic shop. And we got our free comics on.
Mm-hmm.
You came prepared. I just figured I'm going to show up and take everything that's free and spend a little bit of money and bail.
Well, in the past, that's how it's been.
Right.
In the past, it's been like, you know, you show up and because like what I told Instagram yesterday, and I posted like some of my free comics that I've gotten in the past.
Yep.
And I was like, tomorrow's the day. Check it out. Check out your local shops. review like their events, if they have events or times for things, see who's going to be there. Sometimes cosplayers will show up. Sometimes artists will show
sometimes
up.
big artists will show up.
And so like just do a little homework and check it out and see what's being offered. Because if you show up like at a specific time, there might be a cool deal or a game to play, or and so like, I reviewed Matt's stuff because in the past, like Matt's, it just the events have just grown and grown and grown as the years have gone by. And like a couple years ago, it's been like, well, you get 3. And if you're a regular customer of the full list, like he'll be like, all right, you can take like 5, but don't tell anyone.
It's on the hush.
Yeah. And this year and last year, I know, Matt was like hoping for, like a bigger donation pot kind of thing.
Right.
Cause a lot of shops try and be beneficial to the community.
Proactive and like.
And so like what Matt does at his place, he asks for, donations to the food shelf. And I was like, I'm on top of that. I volunteered for 2 years at the food shelf, by the way.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Stocking shelves. But
at the food shelf?
Well,
you stocked the shelf?
Well, so quick tangent. Like an ethics class for college, one of the things I had to do was get community service hours. And so I started volunteering at the food shelf, and I'm seeing like retirees who have time on their hands to do stuff, but like there's old men there and they're like, lifting cases of soup.
Right.
You know how heavy that is?
Very.
And
extremely.
And I'm like, I'm perfectly able-bodied right now. And the more I can do to come in here and lift heavy things, the less like, these guys who've already lived their entire life, they don't have to carry cases of soup and cases of water anymore. I'll do it for them. It's like we would get like a delivery truck on Tuesdays. So I'd go volunteer for like an hour or 2 on Tuesdays just to help unload the truck and like unload these pallets and get stuff put away. And then like old ladies and nuns from like, we have what's it called? We have
what do we have?
A place where nuns live.
A nunnery?
They call it something else. I can't think of it right now.
I don't know, actually. I'm not.
It's right on Route 5 too.
A congregation. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of church words.
But yeah, we'll have like some sisters show up and like they help pack bags and everything. But like it's a good place. You get to meet some cool people there.
Monastery.
Yes. No, that's for.
Oh, that's priests. Monks. I looked at the first thing Wikipedia showed me. Covenant?
Nah, that's witches.
Convent.
Yes, we have one of those.
Got it. The reason I said covenant was because I read convent wrong. In case you were wondering.
A coven. But we would also get the van of court ordered community service hour people.
Of course. Yep.
But I'm familiar with the food shelf. I know some people that I know Linda who runs the place, and so I'm on board when like Matt wants to help out the town and do some stuff. And in the past he was like, well, I was hoping for some more donations, but okay,
right.
And it was kind of like optional. And this year he made it a bit more mandatory, and like you show up, you get 1 book. If you want to donate, you can get more.
Right.
And I was like, I'm on board of this. Let me go shopping. I got some rice-a-roni. I got some vegetables.
Yep. I was confused at first. I was like, why are you thrusting rice into my hands? I don't need rice right now. I'm trying to cut down on my sodium.
We're in the parking lot.
We're in the parking lot of the comic shop, which was pretty packed. And I will admit I thought about cheating the system, because at that point I already grabbed a couple books. I was like, it's free comic day. Obviously I can grab whatever I want. I'm a paying customer here. I spent X amount of dollars. For some reason that gives me clout. And once I saw like a guy was giving the spiel to someone about if you do this, you do that, and I was like, okay, now I feel awful.
If you looked under the table, there was boxes of canned goods there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like once you go inside, like there was some more stacked up.
Yep. So I ultimately, at the end of the day, there was only 1 book that I was hunting, and that was the Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man book, like a teaser, the one that when the story first broke. On Opinions May Vary, when we had John Boy Myers on.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first if you listen to that episode. And Ryan Otley and Nick Spencer, along with Cliff Rathburn and Laura Martin, on the inks and colors, respectively. They're going to be on they're on the Spider-Man book, and it was like the first preview of it. So that was the main thing that I was hunting down. So I was able to snag that. because I unfortunately did not bring. I didn't get them. I didn't do my research,
Well, like
and
in case
paid for
I
it.
had time to bring my niece Megan, who's been on 2 episodes here. I wanted to see like if there was any events that she would be into.
Right.
Because they had like some games and stuff and some like a cosplay contest. And you know, he tries to make it fun and have a lot of variety of things there.
Yep.
And so that's why I reviewed and I saw like Matt Ryan was going to be there doing
The
some
football player?
sketching. No. The artist Matt Ryan.
He just signed a huge extension.
Okay.
A lot of guaranteed money
For that team.
for the Falcons.
Okay.
Yeah. Atlanta. ATL for the layman. He acts like he knows. Hey, man, your Browns just drafted Baker Mayfield in the first round. #1 overall.
Nice.
It was the second day of rookie minicamp, and he threw a bunch of interceptions, so everyone's already jumping ship. Anyways,
A friend posted like, "Oh, it's only this many more weeks until the Browns ruin someone's life."
yeah, they drafted good old Baker Mayfield. And then my just as terrible Giants took a running back at #2. Pretty excited about that.
Okay.
Because a running back's typically not a player that you take that high in the draft. Usually, because our quarterback is coming up on 40, we decided to take a running back and not a quarterback.
Sports. What'd you get? Oh, you got the Spider-Man.
I got the Spider-Man. I got the Spider-Man. We'll talk about stuff we bought, I guess, in a little bit.
I pulled with what I donated. I got the Overwatch book, and
Because there's an Overwatch comic.
there is an Overwatch comic from Dark Horse,
Was Zarya on the cover?
Zarya, and
Sombra.
who's Symmetra? Thank you.
Yep.
And there was like 2 other stories also in it because they try to make it like a variety thing.
They do a lot of that with the free comic book day.
This way,
books.
like there's still 20 some or more pages, which is nice. Instead of like getting like, oh, your free comic book is a 10-page,
Yeah.
10
It's a short story.
teaser. This way you get like some other things. So maybe you want to buy some more books when they come out. I got the Avengers free one and also the Howard Lovecraft Big Book of Summer Fun. And this one also has like a couple mini stories inside of it too.
Who makes that one?
There's not on the cover. Steam Engines of Oz was one of the ones in there. Arcana Studios looks like.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, it's Arcana. So
But it caught your eye.
it did. There was a big old Cthulhu on the front. And when I went back later on, around 4, I brought niece Megan, and I stocked up some foodstuffs for her to donate so she could get whatever she wants. She also picked up the Overwatch. She also got the Adventure Time book, the Fiona and Cake special, because Cake is the cat, like Jake is the dog.
I don't know.
Cake and Jake.
Cake and Jake.
Yeah. And the Miraculous Adventures of Ladybug and Cat Noir, which they sound like you've never heard them before, but if you see their pictures,
I'd know.
oh yeah, you've seen it before. They're from Action Lab. Street Angel's Dog one shot was from Image. I don't know, look
Nope,
neat.
don't know.
And then there's also the Boom Studios 2017 Summer Blast, which has like another collection of books.
Right.
Sometimes this shops will get like all the brand new stuff because that's what's going to be popular. That's what's coming out, later in the season or in the year. But Diamond will also be offering like stuff from last year or 2 years ago or whatever hasn't sold out yet.
Right.
So like, there's a chance your shop will still end up with a Hellboy FCBD like from 2015 or something.
Yep. In past free comic days, I've picked up the. Oh, what is this? I don't care if it's old. It says free comic day on it, and I'm interested.
Yeah. I saw it's been neat seeing friends posting their adventures too.
Yeah, we had a nice chat going with our friends Will and John.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were sending
Some pictures of their shop and.
Yep. Because Will, of course, out on the West Coast, showing some pictures from his shop. He got stickers. I got my free comic.
We don't have stickers.
We don't have stickers.
I wonder if
man.
that's a store.
I don't know. Maybe
Let
it
us
is.
know if you guys had stickers for I got my free like the I voted sticker.
It's literally that. Like I vote, except it was I got my free comic.
Yeah.
You're supposed to wear it and shame other people who didn't vote. And they go, "Oh, voting doesn't matter. All that happens when you turn 18 is you get an opinion." Someone in my high school said that once, and I was like, "No, I can buy cigarettes, dude."
Eventually, yeah, never mind. I thought I had a joke.
It's gone now.
So one of my jokes, I got a fake ID when I was younger,
Mhm.
and my friends all go like, "But you don't drink and you don't smoke. Why'd you get a fake ID?" And so I can vote
They
illegally.
Oh, rough, rough. That's egregious.
One of the statements I like to make is there's basically two kinds of shops. There's two comic shops. There's one that's really clean. It's spread out. There's plenty of room.
Modern myths.
And you can tell when they vacuum the floor because it happens often. and things are new. The tables are, they look like anyone's furniture. It's nice. Smells decent.
They try to run it like a big box chain store.
Yeah. Then there's other shops that they get kind of narrow.
They inherited.
Every single surface is covered in stuff somehow. Not like garbage or dust, but like they're covered in product. They're covered in stock and product. You don't know how they fit that much stuff in there. Like the ceilings are covered somehow. And then there's like stacks and mounds of product throughout the store. And if you feel like if you don't step carefully, you're just going to knock it over.
Yep.
And
you will.
And get buried. It's almost like navigating the laser hallway in like a heist movie or something.
Yep.
And like I feel like there's two kinds of shops. Before Comics and More moved to its current location, it was one of those places when it was in Northampton.
Right.
Now that it's in East Hampton, which if you went today, you could pick up a Brett Kelly sketch cover.
What?
Yeah.
You'd also could see a Brett Kelly sketch cover if you follow us on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, that's Opinions May Vary, all one word on Instagram.
Follow back to Brett's page where you can see the three of them because
You can
mine only
also see
shares the
Brett.
one.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, so Will's pictures showed me he had one of the clean shops.
Right.
Not saying the cluttered ones aren't clean.
Mm-hmm.
They're just cluttered.
Yeah.
They're just, there's a lot of stuff around. You might have to do some digging to get to what you want.
Exactly.
You did that today.
I did that today. I did a little bit of digging. I did some stacking, moving one stack or over here.
I'll hold this for you
Yep.
while you...
Yep. And it was all worth it.
Because occasionally stores will also have sales while they're having free comics.
Yes.
So not only are they giving away product for free, they'll also offer discounts.
That they paid for.
Oh yeah. They don't get these books for nothing. They have to order them and pay shipping for them and actually pay for the books themselves. They don't cost as much as like the rest of the regular books would weekly, but
They still got to pay for them, and they're giving them away for free.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's a big sale going on at our local comic shop. It was like 35% off.
there was like a variation between 20, 35, and 50.
Yeah,
depending on what you got.
There's a bunch of percents, and depending on what you got, you could get some percents off.
Mm-hmm.
And we took advantage of that.
I almost wasn't going to until we were looking around. And
Yeah,
I was like-
initially you were like, I'm good. And then a couple minutes later, you had a handful.
and then I go, oh, right, I don't have that. Or
Yeah.
like volume 4 of this came out, and I have volume 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
So I pulled Revival Deluxe Edition 4. It's a hardcover. It's what Tim Seeley started doing after he was done with Hackslash.
They did a crossover with Chew back in the day.
Yup. I did forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
The Chew-vival. Revive you. Nope, doesn't work. What else do you get?
And I got 3 more trades of Walking Dead.
You're a
I'm
little
not sure-
behind.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm like at least 8 trades behind. I think
getting good.
I think I read up to 20. Now I have to check.
Is that pink one with the pink hair on the cover there? Yep.
Yeah,
I can't remember her name.
the fuzzy shirt.
Yeah,
the fuzzy coat.
They literally just introduced her like 4 issues ago, and I can't remember her name.
So I got trades 27, 28, and 29.
Because Walking Dead is up to 29 trades. Hot damn.
And about, 6 issues per trade?
Typically trade, yeah. Yep. Shocking.
Yeah, so it's time to get those. And with the discounts that was happening, might as well go for it now.
Yeah. You got a hardcover, which is typically for Image like $35. And then 3 trades, which are usually about 17, usually like 15 to 17 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And you spend under a 50.
Well, I paid like not really over $40.
Yeah.
About $40. Yeah.
Sales, man.
Yeah.
You gotta take advantage of that. I bought one thing. The one thing that I bought was substantial.
Oh, yeah.
In that
In weight.
it was a heavy one. But it's something that I've wanted to pick up for a while, and the fact that I even bought it is kind of just redundant. But my wife even helped me justify it because everyone knows I'm a big fan of Chew. Chew ended, of course, last year before last. I can't remember. Chew was over, and I had the first 2 Smorgasbord editions, which are their big hardcovers, the one that collect 30 issues a piece, 20 issues, excuse me. And seeing as Chew is 60 issues long, There was 3 of them. I have the first 2, and it's been eating at me because I didn't have the 3rd one, but they're expensive.
Eating at you.
No, man, I didn't even do that on purpose because they're $100 a piece. They're
Yeah.
big hardcovers with a slipcase,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, you know what? I have gift cards. There's a big sale going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pull the trigger on this one.
It's the correct time.
I'm never gonna see it cheaper. In fact, it might even just get more expensive. If they stop printing it.
Yeah.
So pulled the trigger on that one. Had to do a little bit of digging and restacking. Here, hold this. Oh God, what have I done? I got it out of the shelf, picked it up after my gift cards. This is the deal of the century. I was wheeling and dealing. And by wheeling and dealing, I walked up and I went, gift cards cool? And they went, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they did math, and I gave them my gift cards. And after all the math, I got a $100 book for $13. And it's a very good day.
Mm-hmm.
Very good day. And then I promptly got home, flipped through it for about 5 minutes, and then I put it on my shelf with my other. So now I have Chew in floppies.
Mm-hmm.
I have
every issue.
I have every issue except for a couple of variants.
Yeah.
I'm missing like 2 or 3 variants, I believe, which I've been hunting for, but not actively.
Right. Yeah.
I look for them at cons. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I do own I have the script book that came out. Found that at the Golden Gavel show.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That East River.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I bought an issue that I thought I didn't have, but I actually did. A little embarrassing, but
That's why I have to bring an app with me that has my total collection on it.
Yep. So I have every issue of Chew in floppies, some duplicates. I have the hardcovers, which are really nice quality. And, those are the ones. I was justifying this to my wife.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are good for lending. Oh, hey, you should read Chew.
Right.
Check out this.
Yeah.
And then I have the smorgasbord editions, which are the big pricey ones. And then I start with the trades like everyone else, but I stopped at like 9.
Right.
I think I have 1 through 8, and I just kind of stopped because I had the hardcovers. I'm actually thinking about selling them, just because. Do I need Chew 4 times? And my wife helped me justify the hardcover. She's like, you have the first 2, so you had to get the 3rd one. And I was like, you are correct. Absolutely. Especially because she enabled me by getting me the 2nd one as a birthday gift 2 years ago.
Oh.
Yep, so it's her fault. Blame her. It's all her fault. I don't have a strange obsession.
As a counter, would you have used those gift cards like as for anything else?
No, I wouldn't use them on something small.
Yeah.
Because I had 3. My brother used to give me a gift card every year.
If you were gonna do like your weekly pickup, like would you have blown
No.
it? Yeah, exactly.
No, it would only be on something substantial because I had a bunch, and like I've literally had some. Because my brother, he hasn't in the past couple of years, but he would get me a Matt's gift card every year because he didn't know what to get me. He's like, I don't know what you like, whatever, just take a gift card and buy yourself. And I had 3 of them stocked up, which means at least I've had some of those for at least 3 years. And I've just been kind of waiting on the right thing, just because a lot of shit is expensive.
I also stall for Discount.
Yep.
If there's one that comes up like later in the year, like in between seasons or whatever, I usually go for those, and that's when I'll stock up on like the Sex Criminals trades or there'll be a trade or hardcover that I want at some point, and I'll save it for those.
Yep.
Good call.
So, yeah, I took advantage of some sales. I hoarded my gift cards. And I came out with a big old book to complete it's like closure. Kind of completed my collection. Unless I'm an idiot and I decide to finish off the trades, which I don't think I'm gonna do. I don't think I'm gonna do that. It's probably for the best. But yeah, I got
to say hi to Leo.
We got to say hi to. We saw Leo, who appeared with Tasia way back in the day, talking about con men.
And Kineticon.
And Kineticon. You bumped into, I can't remember his name. You said it earlier, and I made a joke.
The artist?
Yes.
Oh, so Matt Ryan.
That's his name.
of Free Lunch Comics.
Yep.
I believe you could just go freelunchcomics.com. If not, just Google Free Lunch Comics. He was there, like, because occasionally some of the shops will get artists to come and do sketching or sell some of their stuff as another draw to go to the event.
Yep.
And so he was there. I've been trying to get him to come on the podcast and talk with us in the past.
Busy man.
Because, like, to be honest, at first, like I've seen him a few times, and I was like, well, you know, he's trying. I'm not like
Local guy.
I'm not like too in love with the art, but you know, I've seen him at this show and then I've seen that show, and then like some time will go by, and he'll do the East River comic show, which is like a day show. If you've ever been to a comic show, and basically it's like you pay $1 and it's at a Knights of Columbus or, you know, some kind of something similar to that, like a Legionnaire Hall or whatever. And then we see him at a roller derby show, and then I see him at a horror convention, and I'm like, this guy has some hustle.
The guy hustles. Yeah.
This guy's working hard, and I really appreciate that. And I want to promote him now.
Yep.
It's like, I want to have a talk with him, and like we'll talk about what he's doing and how hard he works and what he wants to make and everything. But like he's been so busy, we just couldn't have time. And I feel bad if I feel like I'm bothering people to come on this show.
Right. I feel you. I feel you.
And so like, you know, I figured I'd give him some time. Maybe he'll get back to me. But we saw him today. I said hi. We started chatting about stuff. He had some pretty cool, because he was doing a sketch while I was there. I think he was doing a Deadpool. But I started flipping through like a little display he had where he was doing drawings on pages of books. It's like he cut out basically some pages out of a paperback and was like drawing on it, like over the text and everything. Because when I saw, I think was it Tyrion?
Tyrion,
Who was
excuse
on
me, from Game of Thrones.
The Game of Thrones page. And I was like, that's a neat idea. And you reminded me, I forgot Newligan does that.
Yep.
Because what was that in his...
It was in his Slingshots and Heartbreak sketchbook. Or not sketchbook. Yeah, sketchbook
Right.
that I have.
Because we haven't seen him in person.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I think he
was-
posts some on the internet.
Yeah. And I was like, that's a neat idea. And so I was flipping through, and like he had some Game of Thrones, and then he had some Hobbit and some Lord of the Rings
But
stuff.
most importantly.
But then I saw some Conan.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you've listened to...
We had a lesson in Conan a couple months
I'm
ago.
trying to think of when that was. It was a while back.
It was over the winter. I remember it was cold,
Mhm,
and I came into your home.
At some point,
Yeah,
I
it was-
dug out all my boxes of Conan stuff.
I was greeted by Conan.
And we had a whole episode where I was talking about Conan.
I got my learn on.
And so I saw some pages, and like there's more than one. And then I had to decide which one I wanted.
Yep.
And then I was like calling out characters, and I was like, is this Zenobia? He's like, oh, it's a Frustrating Stutter. And I was like, oh, okay.
Obviously.
Because I don't know if I don't recall if the story says what color her hair is. One of Frazetta's paintings has her as like a blonde.
Right.
But in this version, she had dark hair. And I thought Zenobia, who Conan eventually makes his queen, she had dark hair. And he like rescued her from slavery and everything. And so like now we're like spitting names at each other. And I was like, yo, where'd you get the... It's an Ace printing book? And he was like, yeah, it is. Lady brought him in there water damaged. And so I salvaged
Make
what I
the
could.
best of it.
Yeah. And I was like, no shit. And we were
It was
chatting.
cool. Like one of my favorite. I don't mean to interrupt,
It's okay.
but like you were, because you initially were like when you decided. I may be skipping ahead here, but when you decided and like you're like, hey, I'll take these two.
Mm-hmm.
He took them and was like, okay, so here's why you made a really good decision. And like he told you, I love this one because of this. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just neat to be like, it's like kind of when you bought Screw on Head from Ransom Getty, and like he was just super pumped about it. And like,
Can I
it's
buy
like, now,
this? I would love if you buy it.
and now we have to talk about Screw on Head.
Yeah, but it was because he was telling me when he got the book, like I think on like the title page, he drew like a portrait of Robert Howard, who created Conan, and I was like, nice. So now we both know who Robert Howard is, and like
Right,
we're
right.
establishing this kind of thing between us. And one of the pages I got has the title for the short story for the Frustrating Daughter, and he's like, this was the second of these that I did was this Conan, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
What was it first?
It was the Robert Howard thing.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Yeah. And so then I chose like a second. So now I have 2 Conan pages that he drew on. I'll post pictures of them on the Instagram. Maybe those will show up on
Check us
Facebook
out on
too.
Instagram. That's Opinions May Vary, all one word.
And that'll also go to Facebook as well.
Facebook.
But yeah, we had a nice chat. And I was like, and I said, I'm Alex. I'm from this podcast. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I just been so busy. And I was like, I understand.
You good, man. You good.
He made cards for the roller derby team.
No way.
Yeah. So like made them, I'll have to ask our friend Michelle about them. But he was saying like there was a little hiccup with the printer too.
Oh, of course.
But like he was really impressed. He has a new printer he's going to be using now. So like all this like in that 20 minutes, whatever we were talking about. Yeah, but I dig him. Hope to have him on hopefully in a couple weeks now.
He's a cool guy. and
That's fun.
he's one of those people. It's like at roller derby, and
Like
and at
he's
this.
there right now.
Yeah,
He left the comic shop and went straight to
oh,
the
roller
derby
derby's tonight.
to do that show too.
Damn,
Yep. Yeah.
man, all I did was drive to Manchester a couple times, and I'm like, I'm done for the day. I'm relaxing. But yeah, he's a cool guy, and he's always willing to chat, which is also really neat. You know, and he just seems grateful for anyone who's.
And as we're saying earlier, the concept of artists showing up at shops, like, you know, we got Matt Ryan, and then we're seeing like other people that we follow on Instagram posting, and Babastar was like, here's my free comic day sketches. It's like, can you imagine just showing up at your local shop and like, oh, here's Babstar.
Yep,
And
just
then-
hanging.
And then you were like, Ryan Ollie's at a shop right now. Just
Yeah, yep. I'll be at whatever shops. I'll have Spider-Man. Come see me. Damn it. You need to live closer to Boston
live closer to places where people do amazing
so we can
things.
see like. I don't know. I didn't see if Joe Quinones or Erica Henderson or anything like that were active today. I wasn't on Instagram too much. Instagram, that's opinions may vary, all one word.
All right, let's not.
It's only 4.
Promote more of this episode than like the past 20 episodes.
It was a really good time though, all in the sake of giving away free comic books.
When we said friends, friend Kim Zombie went to 2 of them today,
Damn.
and she got a picture with her young son with some cosplayers. Because you could also find some cosplayers at different events. I think who was it? I think Will had some like a Sith Lord and a Boba Fett at his.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which Sith that was.
I remember seeing. Yeah, John said
John
which
knew
one it
who it
was.
was.
It was Darth. Who cares?
Insidious or.
Most likely.
And then our previous guest, 2-time previous guest, Joe Sherry, is down in Texas now, and he posted his first original art page. He went to a shop, had artist Steve Irwin there, who's done a lot of stuff, 80s, 90s. Had a pretty nice page out of Checkmate, and Joe was like, "This is really cool. I've never owned an original art page before, and it only cost him $20." And like, that's an opportunity that I don't.
That's a steal.
You know, who knew you could get the kind of opportunity for free comic day? And then I was like, let me look up this Steve Irwin guy, and let's hit up some sketch prices. Thanks, Charlie. And everyone there, Steve Irwin's a good guy.
Yep.
He's in the group, and he like posted some stuff too. He's like, here's why I take the order I do in sketches sometimes at conventions. Did a lot of like real cool Titan stuff. People love his Deathstroke. Does a lot of Deathstroke for fair pricing too. Really nice prices.
Good.
And it's neat seeing friends participate in a thing that we're into too.
Especially when they're on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
It's not just happening at that one shop that we go to.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I don't know, is Free Comic Book Day worldwide? Or is it the United States? I'm not sure.
It might just be the United States.
Maybe they have something out. You know how like not Easter, but like, oh, it's the X New Year on this day.
Oh,
or
yeah,
it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
X whatever
Chinese New
holiday.
Year. Yeah, yeah.
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 So
You're the
Who knows?
dog now, I think.
this year, I think it is.
No.
What did Overwatch have? Because I actually didn't play it all during
I think
the,
last year was Rooster.
the lunar. Yeah, the first year was Rooster. So this year, I think it was Dog. This year, either way.
Don't quote us.
Yeah, we're very up on our cultural history. So Free Comic Day, it was a lot of fun. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't like a couple years ago where it was raining balls and everything was misery. It was a beautiful, beautiful New England day, and we got to enjoy part of it at our comic shop. It was a lot of fun. I highly recommend. It's the first Saturday in May every year. Find your shop, even if it's in Newbury Comics.
Yeah.
It is what it is. If they have comics, they have Free Comic Day. Go down, you might find a new favorite story. I told a story every year, but that's how I found Lock and Key.
Really?
Was Free Comic Day.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Did I know that?
There was I went to Free Comic, and I think this is when maybe I went with Justin or went to see Justin. Maybe he was working it. I can't remember because I was alone. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one of the free comic books was Lock and Key. I don't know if it was one that was free that year, or it could have been one of like the previous year's ones.
Because that is definitely a book that you introduced me to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know. I wouldn't have picked it up if you didn't tell me to.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, what is this? I didn't know who Joe Hill was. Didn't know who Gabriel Rodriguez was. I had no clue anything about it. But I was like, this looks interesting. And I snagged it because it was free. And I read it and I was like, that was really neat because I believe it was like a teaser issue around the time when I can't remember any of the names. Big Brother gets enormous.
Mm-hmm.
He's giant Big Brother, and
Yeah.
he's having a fight with giant Shadow Guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I was like, that was really rad. And then I kind of just put it away. And like every time I see Lock and Key, be like, oh, that book was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad it's already on issue X, which is why I don't own any issues of Lock and Key aside from that one and the one they put out like last year randomly, that one like random story. And I just bought it in hardcovers, but
Yeah.
Lock and Key is probably in my top 5 favorite stories.
That's a good issue too, because like it's very comic booky, whereas like there's no expositional
Like
text.
when he climbs out of the house.
It's like you just see him picking up this giant key, and now he's giant, and there's nothing saying what he's doing or why or how. It's just happening, and you figure it out.
If not for that book, or if not for that free, thing that I just happened to see, it's free or whatever, I'll snag it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a decent chance that I probably never would have read it. Because,
Then I never would have read it.
and especially because like it ended a couple years later.
Then we wouldn't have bought any keys. We'd never met Israel Skelton.
Free comic
Oh my
day,
God! Can you imagine if we never met Israel?
Free comic book day led us to. Oh well, I mean the chogs,
The Chew stuff.
but either way,
Would we have cared by that point?
most likely.
You're
Because
right.
I ordered the shit out of that chog the first time that went on sale. But either way, it introduces to Israel earlier,
Yeah.
so we could expect, we know this guy makes quality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we'll go with. Thank you, Lock and Key and Free Comic Book Day. Please make more. I love that book. Please, please more. It was a lot of fun this year. We also, do you have any more Free Comic Day stuff?
I don't think I do.
I think I'm good on Free Comic Day.
Yeah.
I'm starting to repeat myself with it was a lot of fun. So you got to go to something really neat
Yep.
that actually we hyped up
Yeah.
on episode 301.
Worth the hype.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
dug it. It was a lot of fun.
All
right, that's all the time we have.
that's it. It was super neat. Go back to listen to episode 301. You'll figure out what we're talking about.
No, okay, but seriously, we had our friend Josh on, Josh Williams, and
One of like the chillest dudes ever.
so nice.
L-
We've been so lucky.
We didn't deserve to have him on.
He talked a lot about explaining some parkour to us and some of his stunt work, and at the time he was recently hired on to do the Marvel Universe live show.
It's like a live stunt show.
It's like basically a live stunt show, touring different arenas. It's almost like going to the circus, but it's not exactly a circus performance because there's Marvel characters throughout the whole thing.
No, a lot less animal abuse if you want to.
Whoa. Animals get treated better than the clowns do, sir.
I don't know anything about the circus. I've never been.
You know who could school us? Rob the Balloon Guy.
Rob would
knows
probably
everything
shut
about-
me the fuck
Oh, yeah.
down with what I just said.
And I kind of want to ask him about it too.
Yeah.
Because I believe, like, there are some former circus like stagehands who must have moved on to work for this show.
Right.
Because a lot of the setup is kind of similar, the mats on the ground are kind of similar, and like the stage changes and everything. In fact, the guy
Get that vibe.
during intermission who like does these demos with these helicopter boomerang things, same dude. The dude that I saw at like one of the last Barnum Valley Circus shows, doing this. He throws like these little boomerang frisbee things, and it's like get everyone to buy some at the stands and whatnot.
Right.
The same guy was doing it at Marvel.
Right.
at the Marvel show.
I mean, hey, if it works, know your audience.
But Joshua got to be Black Panther, and so some of the actors can fill in different roles. He was Black Panther for this one. It was really cool. I went with Andy, who's been on the show previously, because they worked together at our local theme park. We got decent seats right in the middle, so we could look right down the center of the layout, a few levels up.
Those sound like the seats to have. Judging from the pictures that you showed me.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you were down any lower, because like it's a very like plain and gray set, and they have this amazing projection system that will just project New York City,
Right.
or these temple ruins, or the inside of a spaceship, and like it'll change like every 10 minutes or however long the scene lasts, and like that alone is like an engineering feat.
A
that
masterpiece.
is amazing, and
And you could see that.
to put a character
Yeah.
in there and then have like their powers activate how do you make Electro look like he's shooting electric bolts at you?
Right.
How do you make that look? They project
Without
it,
killing
they
someone.
project it onto the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So when you, from the right height, you look down, like you can see this electricity bolt like traveling across the ground, and then like sparks fly up and Doctor Strange falls over.
Right.
And it's pretty cool.
Sometimes what might seem like the best seat, it might not be.
Yeah.
I've seen 2 Cirque du Soleil shows,
Yeah.
which if you haven't seen a Cirque show,
Mhm.
they're fucking great.
Mhm.
They're so rad. The first show I went to way back when they had the tent set up in Hartford,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the tent,
Mhm.
that was really neat. We were just kind of in the middle of the crowd.
Yeah.
Like we just had average seats, but we could see everything. It was great.
Mhm.
Second time I went to Cirque, I went with my wife. It was her first time ever going to a Cirque show, and I splurged. Like it was a XL Center in Hartford.
Yeah.
You know, it was a big arena instead of like the tent,
Mhm.
which I kind of like the tent atmosphere better.
They design a different show for indoors.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And I splurged, and we got floor seats. We
Right.
got floor seats, second row.
Yeah.
We were way up there.
Yup.
And I think I enjoyed the experience a little more from the crowd, like
Yeah.
back. I wish like we were a little bit further back because you're more like looking up at stuff.
Mhm.
Like that's really neat. Like I wonder what like, you get
kinda
more
look
of
at
a
one thing at a time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, it was a fantastic experience either way. But I feel like at this show that you went to, being able to see like the lightning bolt on the ground and that's kind of it immerses you a little bit more.
It was cool. And when we were going to have Josh on, we were looking up some of the reviews, and like one of the reviews you found said something like, this was the most childish but also awesomest thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't warn Andy about this. And I don't think he knew what to expect. And I knew like there's going to be a ton of kids here.
Yeah.
This is like a children's show.
It's like Ice-Capades.
You can kind of tell like from some of the advertising, because like when you buy your ticket online, it says, do you also want to buy this wristband?
Right.
It's light up wristband, and like our man developed the technology for this wristband, and it lights up. And it's like, what does that do? Oh, it lights up.
How
Okay.
many did you get?
I got 8. I told Andy he has to pay me back for all of them. No,
He's
I
a
got
good
0.
man. He's good for it.
And we got there, and sure enough, they're for sale at the gift shop stands
Right.
and everything. And like we're in line and we're looking around, and Andy's like, the couple in front of us are the only other 2 adults without kids here.
Yep.
And they're doing face painting. You could take a picture next to a standee of Spider-Man or Black Panther, and it's very like a kid-centric show.
Right.
And they're selling all like the light flashing things, the light up sword
Yep.
that they will never turn off during the entire show.
Yep.
And you realize, oh right, it's that kind of show.
Mm-hmm.
You can't like at the movies go like, hey man, turn your phone off.
I'm with you.
But hey, that's what it was. Opens with Doctor Strange floating there, doing his cross-legged, sitting there in the air. That was neat. And he's telling he gave you your intro. We find Spider-Man. This like a bunch of villains. They weren't exactly Sinister Six, but a bunch of villains come out. He's doing okay. Starts to lose. More heroes show up.
What?
Like Cap is there. Black Cat looked pretty. She was one of the villains, by the way, because she switches sometimes.
Right.
At one point, the lizard crawls down this scaffolding, and like he's crawling downwards,
Like facing down.
like a lizard
As a
crawling
lizard
down
would.
a wall.
Yep. He wasn't climbing like a human would.
Not like
feet
not
first.
like going down a ladder.
Yeah.
No, and it looked cool, and like and one of the neat things is like being at the right age level and the right expectations, because like they want to make it look cool, but they still got to be safe.
Yep.
And so you can't hide everything. It's like when Lizard comes crawling down, we know he's in a harness somehow. He's clipped into something, and like he'll shake his head. It's like watching Power Rangers. They'll nod their head to show they're speaking and whatever. And like, so he's gesturing with one hand, and the other hand's like behind his back, unclipping his harness.
Right.
And it's like, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
And there's not really a way to hide it, so you just go ahead and do it. And you just accept it, because it's part of the show now. And that's what makes it fun. It's because when something looks good, I appreciate it looking good. And because they would still surprise me with things. Once a lot of characters are out, the amount of misdirection that they feed you
Right.
is part of the entertainment.
Don't look at the harness. Look at this explosion.
Well, that was part of the fun for me, because like, yeah, I want to watch Black Panther and Rhino fight, which I mean, it's not easy to fight Rhino. He's super strong,
Obviously.
Black Panther was doing okay. He was holding his own against that monster. But then like suddenly Doctor Strange shows up. Out of where? I don't know where he came from.
Because you weren't looking.
And
You were
what
looking
was-
at something else.
Because what was neat, like, spoiler alert, the heroes win. The Spider-Man bad guys get carted off by S.H.I.E.L.D. And, like, they kind of, like, hit a spotlight on, like, the 5 of them or so.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the stage kind of goes dark. And then you see, like, this swirling sparkler just spinning really fast and sparking on fire. Then there's Doctor Strange.
What?
He's, like, sitting on top of this taxi. I don't know how he got there. And, like, he was already spinning that sparkler thing before it lit up.
Right.
Which, like, just, like, how do you make sure that goes off right? There was a point where a fight was going to start, and Strange, like, had his he was wearing, like, plastic discs on his hand that would light up. Looks like in the movies.
It looks like the circles. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I nudged, and I was like, when did he put those on? Where'd those come from? And he's like, I don't know. Where did he hide those?
Did Andy have a good time?
He did. He was also really impressed by, like, the engineering aspect. He took a lot of pictures of the scaffolding. Like, I know you go to a show to watch a show, but, like, also having, like, as minor experience.
When you have experience, you want to know. Yeah.
Doing, like, little movie making and little stage making and, you know, and acting. It's like, I am interested in how they do some of this stuff. It's like the harnesses that they have and the catwalk that's upstairs that you don't see characters appear from the ceiling. They just, there they are.
Yep.
Iron Man descends from the top like he's using his jet boot blasters and they're sparking all over the place. That looked cool.
Yep.
I know he's in wires. Still looked cool.
How did the armor look? Was it bulky or was it like sleek?
It was kind of
look
bulky.
like Iron Man armor.
It looked like Iron Man armor. Oh yeah, and I like it where it looks like segmented and
right.
pieces of different armor.
Not the nano stuff.
No.
Spoilers. Probably should have. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
anymore.
no. Yeah,
Walking through Target yesterday, someone literally screaming because they're talking with their friends about the end of Infinity War, and I was like, "That's a dangerous thing to just be yelling at Target." Anyways, continue.
barely over a week.
Yeah.
When Rhino first came out, I dug it.
Right.
Because it's tough to make the Rhino look good, and as a
Case
person.
in point, end of Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. Because when he hits that charge pose, I was like, I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. Yes. Groot looked pretty good. Rocket Raccoon was fun. And it's all voiceover, as Josh explained to us. It's like watching the characters hit their marks. That was neat. They still made Drax funny.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Star-Lord calls the team a bunch of knuckleheads.
Classic.
And Drax is like, my knuckles are not on my head. They're on my fists.
That Drax takes everything too literally.
Yep. And there's a couple of those, which was nice. There's some good fights between Gamora and Nebula.
Mm-hmm.
Nebula had shoes like one of the big issues with the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
Loki showed up and like,
What?
yeah, Loki was also a big issue.
The crowd was in a lot
was
of
fun.
danger, I feel, throughout this entire...
These bad guys, yeah. I mean, like, so many Avengers were there to protect everyone.
True. They didn't stand a
The
chance.
Guardians and the Avengers got to team up.
Did Cap say Avengers Assemble?
He did.
Nice.
Cap said Avengers assemble, and then Starter was like, Guardians, gather. And like, even the Guardians were like, what? And Star-Lord's like, I'm working on it, okay? I can't sound as cool. Yeah, I'm going to work on it.
Yep.
And like, he knew it's not going to be, but,
Star-Lord's self-aware.
and with it being a stunt show, it wasn't just like the wire work. Like, Spider-Man would have to like put on this sling around his hand and then like actually swing around gripping this thing by one hand. I'm trying to think of a comparison. Imagine like swinging on a rope, right? You're holding on to it. It's still supporting you like because it's looped around you.
Yep.
But now swing in one direction and then like in midair at the crest of one swing, turn your body and face the exact opposite way to swing back.
I cannot do that.
And now do that again to go back. So you have to you have to twist your body in a perfect 180
While...
hanging from a thing while looking like Spider-Man.
Exactly. While trying to look like Spider-Man and make it believable
He does
for
that
these
thing with his
kids.
legs where
Yep.
he kind of like makes a diamond with his doing that and like doing a perfect twist swing. Like, I can't even go sledding and face forwards.
Yeah, exactly. I struggle on a child swing,
Yeah.
let alone a rope swing that only has me by one arm.
And so talent like that, watching Black Panther do his flips and his kicks and everything. And like
Josh did good.
it was cool. It was real cool. And like the way he would do, because like being friends with him, I would watch a lot of his Instagram or his Facebook stuff. And I feel like I could pinpoint his flips more than if someone else were doing them.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I pay attention to things. I know things
It
sometimes.
is what it is.
And then we're curious, like, who switches roles.
Right.
And it's
Similar to how, like, who might be a thug in one scene
Yeah.
is now Spider-Man in the scene.
Spider-Man's always Spider-Man. But it was, well, like, let's say, because, like, we don't see any more of the Sinister Six, you know?
Right.
It's like whoever
I
was
doubt their night's done.
whoever was, I'll say Green Goblin, could have been a Chitauri thug later on. Because I want to guess that Black Hat becomes one of the Silk Aerialists that performs later on.
Right.
Iron Fist shows up. He punches a dragon.
It's already better than the show.
You
I
know,
never saw a single minute of Iron Fist.
Well, I mean, hopefully he's dust now. So, and for the stunt aspect, there is like a scene where Captain America and Black Widow are riding dirt bikes, and like still fighting some of the bad guys, some of the thugs, and they're driving them around this whole set. Which, to give credit to your coworkers, I think it was Black Widow, like drives by Black Panther while he's fighting. I don't think it was one of Loki's mains. I think it was someone else. And like came within like less than 2 feet of him, which if you're not hitting your mark,
Yep.
and you're off, and if they're not driving the dirt bike, this motorbike perfectly, and like she just ran over your Achilles tendon.
Yeah. There could be problems.
And just like the trust between all of them that they know their job, they're in the correct exact spot. And I was like, they were like a safe distance, but if that was me, I'd be terrified. Like that was.
It's
too
one thing if
close.
you're standing still, but when you're mid-fight scene and there's dirt bikes racing around.
Yeah.
nah, I'm good.
So that was neat to watch. At one point, Spider-Man gets on a dirt bike, and you were like,
Initially, I was like, are you serious, man? Why?
so like Cap was amazing on his, Black Widow was amazing on hers, but then Spider-Man's like, hey, let me try this too. Whoa!
Yep. That's the only way that I needed that to happen.
And he made it look really clumsy. He was in full control the whole time. It was still fun to watch. But they still had to wear helmets for safety issues.
Right.
And so his spider head looked a little weird.
Yeah.
And there's a part where like they end the scene by having to like exit through this cutout in the wall. And
Elevated.
It's way up there. I want to say at least 15 feet, if not 20. 15 is probably good. Because people standing on each other's shoulders like would barely reach it, I want to say. And they dirt bike up this ramp. And they don't just drive into a ramp, like they ramp up with a jump.
There's a gap between the ramp and the thing.
And like they jump the dirt bikes up through that hole in the wall. And Black Widow goes first after doing a wheelie for at least 20 feet.
Right.
Which I was like, oh shit.
I have experience on a dirt bike. I have ridden dirt bikes before.
Yeah. How many wheelies can you do?
I've zero wheelies. I can ride it in a straight line with success, and I can sort of turn it a little bit.
Yeah, turning's hard for
One
me.
thing you don't think about, turning a dirt bike, man, that's tough. You can't just pop your foot down on a bike and catch yourself if you're like, it's a dirt bike is heavy, and if you are unfamiliar with them, they are cumbersome, and you look like a fool, which is what I did every time I got on a dirt bike. To think like, and a lot of people, it looks so easy.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, I could get air on a dirt bike. When you are on a dirt bike and you catch the slightest bit,
Oh my god.
it's holy shit.
I'm gonna die.
Like, because if you like, I rode on a track once in my life, and it was terrifying. It was also super fun, super fun. I was getting blown away by 5-year-olds on like 50cc mini bikes. They were just ripping past me, humiliating. One of the most emasculating things I've ever done in my life, but it was also really fun. And I caught a little bit of air a couple times, and that was terrifying. And it gives you like a respect for, like, oh yeah, well, it's just a small gap. What it is, on a huge ramp. Nah, man, this slight like that shit is tough.
Yeah.
Especially not to mention doing like you're doing it in front of a crowd.
Oh yeah.
You there's like pyro going off. You're doing wheelies and stunts and all that stuff, and then you have to make this gap. Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Without like, and you don't get a second chance.
Yeah. Oh, let me.
Let me turn around to the
yeah, I'll try and hit that again. I'm good.
And like the way they all, they make it look so easy. It's like this bike is an extension of their own body.
Yep.
You know? And then like the very next scene, they have to come out of the, this hole in the wall on the other side, this window that's cut out. And there's a rope nearby. So they just kind of like, rappel down this rope. And
As you do.
like Spider-Man goes first, and Captain America, and then Black Widow. And like I nudge Andy, and I'm like, Justice is going to jump. It's 15, 20 feet down. He'll just jump. He'll roll and be fine.
He could do it. Did he jump?
He took the rope.
Oh, come on, Josh.
But like I was like, he could. He'll be fine.
He coulda. He just didn't want to show everyone up.
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
Having learned like a little bit minor, theme park character work we've had, everyone was in character. Like Spider-Man was rarely ever just standing there. He was like in a Spider-Man pose.
Yep.
Not like full like squatting down the entire time, but like you could tell when he was Spider-Maning.
He's making the web shooter motion. Probably.
More than that. That was neat. Even the Wasp.
Maintain the illusion.
The Wasp had a certain like level of posing and
It's cool the Wasp was in it.
gesturing.
Because
Yeah.
not many casual like kid fans would be like, oh my god, the Wasp.
Right. You'll see her soon.
Exactly. She'll be huge.
They
Not
showed-
literally, she'll be tiny.
They had a Electro in the Sinister Six scene. I keep calling it Sinister Six. I don't know if there's 6 of them. But Electro was there.
They were sinister though.
It was Guy Electro, but without the big head star.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Which currently Electro's a girl.
Yeah, that happened in Avengers.
Did it?
The book that I just picked up yesterday. The newest one with
'Cause she's been in the Miles Morales Spider-Man.
No, it was in the Spider-Man book that I read today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure when she became Electro.
I knew I read it recently, but the Electra, I can't remember her name. It was long.
Oh, she wants to be called Electro.
But like
It's
he
from what I
called
said.
her a longer name.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. Do you have it here? I don't know. The oddly Spider-Man. He calls her by name, and it's like Electra, and there's more syllables.
Huh. This one? In
Yeah.
here somewhere?
It's toward the beginning when you see like all of them on the page.
Oh yeah.
She's there.
I'll get to it later. Well, she's
Yeah.
on the page.
Yeah.
I like the spark on the face.
You do like the spark of the face?
I do.
I could do
It's
without
fun.
it.
So, original Electro, Maxwell Dillon, had that for his entire career.
Right.
And
Electrolina.
Huh.
Yeah, it's in the last panel. Boomerang says it to her. By the way, Boomerang is not Captain Boomerang, apparently. They're different. They have each universe has their own
But-
Boomerang guy.
yeah.
Okay, just wanted to clear
Marvel
that
Boomerang
up.
is just Boomerang. DC Boomerang's Captain
Which one
Boomerang.
came first?
In the Miles Morales Spider-Man one, I think she didn't want to be called anything else besides Electro. So the original
Well, I mean, this is an Ultimate, so it's a different It's a different.
Miles exists in this universe now.
Didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
got
yep,
it.
yep.
Got it.
It's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
No,
I read Thor
no
and
shame.
Old Man Logan.
No shame, yo. It's confusing. When the Avengers were going to come back, because Bendis had done Avengers Disassembled, and the team broke up for a while. We didn't have an Avengers book. And then, like, when they came back, it was because there was a breakout on the raft, and like Daredevil was on the raft being Matt Murdock to do lawyer stuff,
Right.
and other characters were like, kind of in the area, but like the power on the raft goes out, and all the villains escape.
What?
Like 60 bad guys escape off the raft. And Shield is like, oh no, what happened? And there's like a prequel issue, like a flashback of someone arranging, like, okay, you can cause this power outage, right? And they're like, yeah, I could do it. It's easy. It's like, you sure? Because like, there's a lot of backups at Shield, and they're going to expect this. And he's like, no, I can do it. And like, we don't see who it is. It's a CD bar with bad lighting.
Right.
And like, the last page is like, one question: masks or no masks? And like, it's Electro. And the guy goes, it's up to you. And he goes, masks. And like, you could see like it draped around his neck. And I was like, oh yeah. Oh, F yeah.
That fan service.
And like, that's one of those things where I go, oh yeah, Bendis, you did it.
Right.
Good one.
Yep.
And you know, because it's classic old school green and yellow with the big star in his face. Yep. Mask or
Just
no mask?
obnoxious comic book.
Yeah. I feel like he would really fit in with Captain Cold and Heatwave. You know?
Someday.
You know, that would, damn it. New Best crossover. The Rogues and Secret Six.
The Rogues and Secret
The Rogues
Six.
and Sinister Six, sorry.
Oh man, we did it
Not
again.
Secrets. Anyway,
I'm just sneezing.
the
Got my allergies
Guardians of the Galaxy
going.
stuff was fun. And it was still neat seeing stuntmen doing stunt stuff.
Yep.
And like,
Pratt Falls.
because
That's my stuntman
one of the
terminology.
things I had said is like, I really wanted, like, I wonder, is there like a really like muscly dude in the Drex costume?
Right.
Because like he's gently pushing this thug Ravager guy into some crates, and you could tell like the Ravager guy is in complete control, throwing himself into these crates.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, but if you like gave him, you know, extra shove, like we'll see John Cena do off the ring post or something.
Yep.
And I was like, but now the thing about it, like those guys get hurt a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you do one match a night, you know, that's average. But you know, they had 3 shows that day, so you want to control yourself.
Yeah, you
to
gotta
get thrown
take it
into
easy.
these. Yeah. So I respect that. You still got to preserve and do your job and get up the next day and keep doing it.
And you just heard. Oh, go ahead.
And so you could keep performing for your fans.
Right.
But
And you just heard there's more shows nearby to us.
mm-hmm. Since we have an in, like I've seen Josh post. It's like, well, you know, the current run is almost up. The contract's almost expired, and they'll have another one later on coming up in Hartford. It looks like, I don't know if it's going to be the same show, if they're going to redo like a next chapter, but come November they'll be back in Hartford. So, but I haven't heard like who's hired back yet. I haven't asked it either, but hopefully it would be neat if that's more Black Panther.
Yeah.
It was neat seeing Doctor Strange, because you know when you're performing, you gotta really flaunt it, and he was swinging that cape.
Mm-hmm.
He was really getting the flaunt on that cape.
That's what's up.
I dig it.
Yep.
Looked really flashy. Thor was cool, because like at some points he would have the guide wires on, and he would like fly through the air and like smash the ground, and exactly where he smashes, the projection light are showing these lightning arcs and everything.
Damn.
And all these dudes fall down. It was cool. At one point he puts his hammer down, and like, cause Loki hit him with some magic and he couldn't control himself and was captured, and like he's getting carried away, and like the hammer's still on the stage. I'm like, Andy, watch the hammer. What if a stagehand
If
comes
someone
over and
picks it
picks up
up.
that guy? If some random black shirt stagehand picks up that, I'm gonna be so. It was on one of the risers, on the center,
Oh.
that center podium. Those 4 like trusses.
Right.
And like that thing just lifts all the way up to the ceiling, and we don't see it anymore. It's gone.
Son of a bitch.
Next scene.
They retconned it.
And I was like, damn it. And later on, when Thor comes back and breaks out of Loki's spell, and like he summons a hammer, and it just like flies from the side of the stage right into his.
Huh.
I don't know if someone threw it or there was a launcher, but
Or if
like,
there's like
it traveled a good, like, I'll say 25 feet, like handle first, direct shot right at him.
I wonder if that had to have been like on a to throw that thing handle 1st. Like that's. I feel like there had to have been some sort of line. Like
I didn't see any like strings.
that's impressive.
He started swinging it as soon as he had his hands on it.
That's a if it's legit just thrown or hurled at him in some fashion, that's a terrifying spot. Because if you flub that, that's
Have we seen the clip of the blooper from the original, the first
yeah.
Avengers?
When Cap catches his shield perfectly and he's going through his motions.
And like Thor's just bumbling it for the next 2 minutes. There was a point where Cap threw a shield at Lizard, and like it was kind of a hidden moment, because like they broke out of a bank or so, and like there was like some kind of stairs with a gap in the stairs, and you see Cap like motion and put his shield down behind this railing.
Right.
And then you see the shield fly out through this gap in the stairs, and like nail Lizard right in the leg, and he falls down. And like, but like it flew for a good ways, like a frisbee, like real level, good shot. And I was like, and I tried to talk to Andy. I was like, do you think was the shield he's been wearing the whole time, or did he like put it down to switch it out for a frisbee version of it?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what kind of masochist do you have to be to step in front of that,
Yeah.
no matter what it is?
And take that hit. I will say again, speaking from experience, doing I mean I've been known to make a spot like that. I don't know. There's a little show called back in the day. It was called We Got the Beat, and the spot called for, was it Daffy, I believe, to fall into a unseen pile of trash, garbage, discarded waste.
Okay.
And the comedic result after that was a tire would come rolling across the stage.
Okay, yeah.
You know, to illustrate just
Oh, like backstage, you'd hear the calamity.
yeah, the type of garbage that he had fallen into. Classic Daffy scenario. And it was up to the humble host who mysteriously disappeared at that point, to do that tire throw,
To roll that tire.
to roll that tire across the stage.
Right.
And I
Oh, man.
flubbed that tire throw many times. Yep. Sometimes it would go like a couple feet and then just fall, or it would go careening off the stage toward the children. But when you got it right, it was like that was a good tire throw. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I mean, even if it got messed up, like no one knows what was supposed to happen on purpose, you know?
Right.
Unless you've been to that show many times.
Yep. It's like the people who go to the magic show like frequently, like at least 2 or 3 times a week, and they're front and center every show, and you've seen this many times. I don't.
They're fans.
Yeah, it was some of it was neat. That was the only time I've ever signed an autograph. People would ask for an autograph. I'm like, me, I'm the stagehand, man. What, you want really?
I got the Stagehand autograph one time.
It's because you're a good man.
When everyone's fighting, it was kind of tough to keep track.
Yeah.
It's like when the circus used to have all 3 rings going at once. It's like, oh my, what do I watch? And like they would still time the hits to who was spotlighted, because you would hear like the hits over the soundtrack, and you know they're able to like direct you to look at, well, we're going to show you Captain America for a while. Like everyone else is there, but they're not spotlighted.
Right.
And so you're going to hear what he's doing at that moment. But then it's going to change. You're going to hear Spider-Man's flip, and he's going to swing around and do something cool. Green Goblin has Goblin Glider. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. Hulk shows up.
Of course.
That's neat to watch.
Yep.
You don't even see him coming. Because like Bruce Banner's there for a while.
I feel like that's very difficult to pull off.
Bruce Banner's there for a while, and like he can't turn into Hulk because Loki's putting the magic on him.
Of course.
And then like the Hulk shows up, it's like, oh right, there he is. And that was really cool. But it was a lot of fun. Like, don't go thinking it's supposed to be serious and a perfect movie fight every time.
I need every moment of this to be believable.
Yeah.
I need to be immersed. Otherwise, I will blast this on the internet.
And if I had the capacity to cheer, I would have.
Right.
But I was busy going instead. Like I said, when Rhino first charges, I was like, it's Rhino.
He's charging.
And like it would be different if it was like a wrestling show. When we hear your favorite wrestler's music.
Right.
It's like, oh, you hear Mankind, you're like, yeah, Mankind.
Yeah, you were that one guy. It's thinking more like the glass shatter.
It's like, oh, it's Steve Austin again. Oh, all right. It's gonna stun a bunch
no
of
one
people.
ever.
But I think if I get to go again, I'll try and be more vocal and cheer for more people.
Yep.
And luckily, since Josh is such a nice guy, I was doing a bit of texting during intermission, and I was like, if I like get a shirt, can you come sign it? Like, what do I have to do? Just have to wait until like you're done with the tour and come visit you. And he was like, no, I'll visit you after the show's over. And I was like, really?
What? Black Panther.
And he was like still sweating, still trying to cool off after the show.
Yeah.
He had to share time between us and some of his stunt friends who would also do tricking with him in because this was like his local show.
Yeah.
This was when like other people could go to it too. And it was neat meeting some of his other friends too.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a lot of fun. I would do it again. I want to do it again. I want to bring more friends to it.
November's only 6 months away.
Yeah, it feels like that's a long ways. It's gonna show up in no time though.
It's true because it's already May.
But the first iteration was a couple years ago, I guess. The Marvel Universe live show. Because I know Khalif, who's friends with Scott Hoffman, who's been on,
right,
to pitch his parkour studio.
Way back in the day.
Khalif was, I know he was Falcon.
Wasn't he also in Black Panther?
I don't recall. Oh yeah, he was in the movie. He was one of the soldiers.
Yep.
In the movie in the blue. Yep.
Not a big deal.
But the Universe show, like the Traveling Stunt show, is different from whatever Marvel had that they debuted a couple of years ago.
Right.
That didn't really work out. The Marvel Experience, I think it was called. That was a shame. It's too bad.
I'm glad it sounded like a lot of fun.
I dug it.
November needs to come.
It was definitely worth the drive to Worcester.
Right.
It was like an hour drive. You had to park in the garage, but it was held at where Massive usually is.
DCU.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was the crowd? Sold out?
No, it wasn't sold out.
Mm.
But like over that 4 days, they had done at least 8 shows. I want to say.
Right.
8?
Right. So there's plenty of opportunity to see it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows, I think. Yeah. Some of the lower levels were packed, but the upper higher ones off to the sides, not so much. Give it enough time, you'll easily be able to find a seat.
Right.
You know, if you plan ahead, don't wait until like the last 2 weeks. Give it a month. You could really have your pick. Because whatever the Ticketmaster was I used, like you could pick your seats.
Right.
For the computer thing I used. I don't know. I'm never sure if they're all like that anymore. Because in the past it's just like 2 tickets to the circus. They're like, here you go.
Yeah. Your GA.
What section am I in?
Show
I don't
up.
know. Pretty much.
Get there early. Sounds fun.
I dug it.
I'll
post some pictures. You could look at those. Check out how awesome Black Panther looks. Check out
go listen to 301 with Josh so you can hear all about his because he talked in depth about the auditioning process, what he went through to get that part, and it was insanely interesting.
And Andy kind of wants to audition for one now too.
Right?
Yeah.
He could do it.
He's like, I have still work. I could do some still
do
stuff.
this.
They had some cool, like at one point, they're on like the collector's ship basically, or the collector's area to deactivate something.
Of course.
And like a bunch of aliens break out, and they have these really cool different alien costumes running around. That was cool to watch. It was neat.
Sounds rad. We have to finish because remember I was like, we're running along. My battery is also at 18%.
Nice.
It has been a very productive day in both adulting and also nerding.
Childing.
And yes, childing. A lot of fun. Let's do it next year.
Bring your kids to that show too.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's definitely a kid-friendly show.
If you're looking for a nice outing with the kids, maybe not on an ice rink. Disney on Ice, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I went to Disney on Ice like 9 or 10 years ago. It was fun.
A couple weeks ago, niece went to like Stars on Ice.
That's neat.
She's into the ice skating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the can't remember what it's called.
Yuri
on Ice. Yeah, that's a big one.
But now she watches the Olympics for the skating now and
Neat.
everything. Wanted to learn Russian so she could learn what one of the Russian skaters says in interviews.
Nice. That's devotion.
Yeah.
But a lot of fun. Fun was had. My allergies are sufficiently kicking my ass, and my battery is about to die, and I still have to get this uploaded. So until next time, I've been JR.
I'm Alex.
And this has been episode 320. Is that right? Is it 320?
Yeah.
That's what I have in my notes.
Yep.
320 of Opinions May. It's already 20 into 300. But opinions may vary.